Unit 6. American Frontier Literature.
American frontier literature is writing that comes from or is about what we call, the frontier. But what exactly is that? Well, it depends on the time we're talking about. The modern notion of the frontier comes from the 19th century. People in the crowded eastern cities of the United States regarded the West as the frontier. On the western frontier were explorers, Indians, cowboys, gunfighters, and adventurers, and all kinds of danger and excitement. As Americans moved west, they developed tales of the frontier. Okay, one of the major themes of frontier literature concerns movement. There are countless stories of people moving to new lands in the hope of gaining better lives. They often find danger instead. In addition, another common theme is the role of technology as people and technology moved west. This was best shown in the building of the Transcontinental Railway. Above all, much frontier literature deals with the relationship between the Americans moving west and the Native Americans they met and fought with, and who were already living there. In James Fenimore Cooper's most famous book, The Last of the Mohicans, the clash between the two cultures is the central theme. The story takes place during the French and Indian Wars of the 18th century. Adventure, war, romance, and death are all parts of the novel. It was published in 1825 and made Cooper famous. But the book is difficult for modern readers. You see, Cooper wrote in the style of the time. Thus he used many complex sentences and difficult vocabulary. Mark Twain was Cooper's opposite. He wrote like people spoke. He's often considered the first writer of realism in American literature. Realism is writing based on what people see and hear every day. His most famous book is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. It's the story of a young boy and an escaped slave who travel by raft on the Mississippi River. Twain is also famous as a humor writer. Frontier humor and regional tales are a main part of frontier literature. Each region had its own colorful heroes and tall tales. Many were based on the adventures of real people, like Kit Carson and Davy Crockett, who were both frontier explorers. Many of these stories were printed in newspapers and magazines. Later, some were collected in book form. Oh, and before I forget, other stories are based on larger-than-life characters. The legend of Paul Bunyan was about a giant woodsman. He could cut down hundreds of trees with one swing of his axe, and he had a blue ox named Babe. Of course, Bunyan wasn't real, but he's part of the colorful tradition of frontier literature in America.
Listening comprehension. Number 1. What aspect of frontier literature does the professor mainly discuss? Number 2. What is one of the themes of frontier literature? Number 3. According to the professor, how is each of the following related to frontier literature? Number 4. Why does the professor mention humor? Number 5. The following statements describe two writers of frontier literature. Put a check in the correct box for each sentence.